International Business Team C with David, Chris, Shane, and Jason. Chapter 7, Government Intervention and Regional Economic Integration. Why do governments get involved? Protectionism. Protection of the national economy. Keeps out foreign competitors to a country's growing economy. Protection of an infant industry, hoping to give a new industry in the country an opportunity to grow. National culture and identity. Maintain a sense of pride for the country. Customs also helps with national security. Keeps out possible threats to the importing country. Ways governments get involved. A tariff. Tariff is a tax on imports. Increased costs on the importer, exporter, and buyer. Makes exports not want to do business in the country if tariffs are too high. A non-tariff trade barrier is a government policy, regulation, or procedure that impedes trade. Quota is a quantitative restriction on imports of a specific product, better for early importers because they can set the price, bad for late importers because they have to pay that price. Bad for the customer because they may have to pay a higher price. Investment barriers are rules or laws that hinder foreign direct investment. Subsidies, government grants to help struggling areas or maintain production at reduced prices. This could be cash, tax breaks, construction, or government contracts. Effective government involvement can reduce the supply of goods to buyers. It can cause price inflation, similar to what happened with the U.S. steel industry. The U.S. steel industry imposed import tariffs to protect manufacturers from foreign competition. This caused a higher cost of steel, which increased production costs, which were put back on the buyer, which also caused a reduction in possible foreign markets. A reduced variety of fewer choices for available buyers. Reduced industrial competitiveness. This happened in the 1970s with the U.S. auto industry. Export quota was put on Japanese auto manufacturers, which allowed U.S. manufacturers to build on what they already had, but it also allowed them to stop innovating and not provide a better quality product, which decreased sales. This was raised 2 years after, or removed 2 years after it was put into place. And there's also various adverse unintended consequences. Easing government involvement. The General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade was enacted in 1947 with 23 countries involved. It was to reduce tariffs through trade negotiations, provide to supervise world trade, and be a forum for trade disputes. In 1995, the World Trade Organization took what they did with GATT in 1947, built upon it, and involved 150 countries today. There's also economic freedom. Economic freedom is where there's no government pressure for work, produce, invest, consume how they want. Index of Economic Freedom looks at trade barriers, regulations. Existing economies are seen as free markets. Emerging markets are seen mostly free, while developing are seen as unfree with lots of government involvement. Responding to intervention. One way is to get educated. Understand that any barriers that are in the country and potential import countries. Determine the best entry strategy. If there are high tariffs on imports, there could be other opportunities to get in the market. Licensing is an example. Look for foreign trade zones. Know the customs qualifications. Make sure that your products that are being exported are properly identified according to the importing country's classification. Look for investment incentives and government programs. Once established, it would help to get involved in free trade programs.
If so, how firms can respond to government intervention? First, understand trade and investment barrier abroad, and plan market entry strategy and host country operation. Second, choose the most appropriate entry strategy, such as licensing FDI and joint venture will be alternative way to do business. Third, foreign trade zone is an area with a country that receives imported goods for assembly or other processing and subsequent re-export. Fourth, reduce exposure to trade barrier by ensuring that products are classified in an appropriate harmonized product code. For example, telecommunication equipment can be classified as electronic machinery, electronics, and measurement device. Company must categorize the product appropriately under the lowest tariff code. Fifth, take advantage of investment incentive and other government support programs. And sixth, lobby for freer trade and investment. We could identify 5 possible levels of regional integration. First, free trade area. The free trade area is the simplest and most common arrangement between two or more countries to reduce or eliminate tariff, quota, and barrier to trade in product and service. For example, NAFTA, AFTA, and so on. Second, custom union. The member country agreed to adopt common tariff and non-common tariff barrier on imports from non-member country. Third, common market trade barrier are reduced or removed. Common external barrier are established and product, service, and factors of a product are allowed to move freely among the member countries. Fourth, economic union. Member countries enjoy all the advantages of early stage, but also strive to have a common fiscal and monetary policy. Fifth, political union. It represents the ultimate degree of integration among countries, but no country have yet achieved. The leading economic blocs are illustrated in the map. The European Union established in 1992 and are consisted of 28 countries. It is the world's most advanced, largest regional economic bloc. EU has taken the following specific steps to become an economic union. First, market access tariff and most non-tariff barrier has been eliminated. Second, common market barrier to cross-national movement of a product have been removed. Now, an Italian worker has the right to take a job in Ireland, and a French company can invest freely in Spain. Third, trade rule. Customary procedure and regulation have been eliminated within Europe. Fourth, standard harmonization. Technical standard regulation and enforcement have been harmonized. Second one is the North America Free Trade Agreement launched in 1994 and consists of Canada, Mexico, and the United States. It eliminates tariff and most non-tariff barriers for products and services, and establishes trade and investment rules, uniform custom procedure, and intellectual property right. So U.S. firms now able to access low-cost labor without significant tariff. Why do nations pursue economic integration? First, increase the size of marketplace for firms inside of economic bloc. Second, bigger market facilitate economies of scale, competition, and efficient resource usage inside of bloc lead to lower price for bloc consumer. Third, compared to investing in standard-alone country, foreign firms prefer to invest in country belonging to an economic bloc. Fourth, belonging to bloc provide member country with a stronger defensive posture related to other nations and world regions.
Chapter 8, Understanding Emerging Markets. Differences between advanced economies and the benefits and risks of pursuing emerging markets. The World at Night picture is a good visual representation of the economic development of different countries around the world. In general, the brighter areas of light indicate an advanced economy, like the United States. Areas with some light indicate an emerging market, like Brazil. And areas with little to no light indicate developing economies, like Africa.
Some differences between advanced economies, developing economies, and emerging markets are: advanced economies have the lowest percentage of the population, but the highest percentage of the global GDP. They also boast the highest level of telecommunication infrastructure. Developing economies represent about a quarter of the global population, but only 4% of the global GDP. And emerging markets, on the other hand, consist of the largest percentage of population, but only 31% of the global GDP. This can provide investment opportunities that may have not been pursued previously.
Emerging markets provide several advantages for business opportunities. Labor cost is usually considerably lower than those of advanced markets. They tend to have a large middle class with a disposable income. They tend to have larger untapped natural resources and raw materials that can be sourced more cheaply than in advanced economies. And they provide the opportunity for outsourcing potential for products and services that may cost too much to produce or provide in an advanced economy.
Emerging markets are not without risk. These countries usually have less stable governments with higher levels of corruption. Property rights can be more fluid than in advanced economies, and poor infrastructure in physical and telecommunications can hinder the communication and transportation of goods. Also, large family businesses or conglomerates can provide challenges as they may see any competition as a threat to their standing.
In any business decision, assessment and research is necessary. Careful demographic and cultural studies should be performed. Market size, market capacity, commercial infrastructure, the business environment, and possible risk should all be considered and studied to increase the chance of a successful enterprise.
Some success strategies that may provide help would be to customize offerings for each market through cultural study and targeted marketing specific to the region. A partnership with family conglomerates can avert conflicts and provide the advantage of their market expertise. Governments in emerging markets can also be one of the biggest customers to which provide services and products. Lastly, a competitive advantage can provide the leverage to succeed and can prove to be more easily obtained than in an advanced economy.
Lastly, emerging markets provide an opportunity for corporate social responsibility. Investment in an emerging economy and provide economic development can help to modernize processes and projects and could provide financing for local business startups. In conclusion, emerging markets present an opportunity for organizations to expand, but not without some risk.